Welcome back, guys. In the last video I promised that I would be making videos in addition to the daily Inkvent videos. So if you haven't watched that video, go ahead and watch it. By the time this video comes out, I'm thinking I'm going to post this a decent bit later. So by the time you watch this, there should be a few Inkvent videos. So if you haven't watched any of those, go check them out, see what the inks are. I'm hoping to keep them pretty short, like 5 minutes or less, so you can go through and look at the different inks. I won't be putting any spoilers in the thumbnail, at least I don't plan to. We're gonna see how this goes. But today's video is a new pen. I did kind of allude to it in the Mont Blanc video, where I said I was getting a new pen even though it was no buy November and there was like a workaround. The workaround is that, if you guys remember, I had the Sailor 1911S, or the Profit Standard, with the zoom nib. I actually ended up returning that because of this pen, which has a lot of condensation in the cap, but just ignore that. But it's my Moonman C2 that I swapped. Is it C2? C1. Moonman C1 that I put a Jinhao bent nib into. Because this thing kind of does what a zoom nib does, but with more range, I think. So, like, at its widest, I feel like I've showed this in a bunch of videos, but I just love this pen. So it can go super broad. You can write kind of like, I would call that like a fine or a medium, depending on the pen. You can also write this way, yeah. So it basically does everything that zoom nib did, but this nib costs like $2 for two, I think it was, maybe 3 for 2 or something like that. Super cheap. And then this pen itself was like 20 bucks. And so I was kind of like, I don't really want to keep that pen. It just kind of feels like wasted money sitting around, honestly. And this pen is what really sealed the deal, because I was really on the fence once I got the bent nib. I was like, I kind of could just return this pen and use the money for something else, because I did buy that pen with an Amazon gift card I got from work. So I was like, maybe I'll just return it and save it for something else, save that money for something else. But then someone sent this in a link on Discord, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna return it and get this. This was also cheaper, I think. So I think that was nice too. I ended up getting a cookbook with the money left over. And this actually isn't a Profit Standard or a 1911S. It's a Profit Light, which I don't really understand the difference. It's 0.2 grams lighter than a 1911S or Profit Standard. I'm just going to start saying 1911S. That's what it is in the US. But it still has the gold nib, 14 karat gold nib. It's not gold plated, it's not steel. It feels like the plastic resin, whatever, feels just as premium as the 1911S. So I'm not too sure what made it cheaper, and I don't know. Is the clip a little different? I can't remember. I feel like the clip might look a little smoother, but it's the same pen. But this has a broad nib. That was another thing. I liked the thickness of the triple broad. Well, not really triple broad. The zoom nib was similar to like a double broad or a triple broad. Again, depending on like the pen manufacturer. But the broad just sounded more usable. I think it's on par with like my Lamy medium. We'll do a comparison. But it's just more usable in general, I think. And I love the blue sparkles. Let me get the flashlight. Love that. So pretty. Apparently it's made with glass. That's what I think the Amazon listing said, but I don't know if that was just like lost in translation because it came from Japan. I do have Monte Grappa Hufflepuff Yellow in here. Well, a little bit. I don't know why my Japanese pens just fly through ink. I don't know, I don't feel like I use them that much. Are the converters just lower capacity? Like, this pen and my Pilot Custom 74 just fly through ink, and I don't understand why. I mean, my Mont Blanc does too, but it uses not converters, it uses cartridges, so that makes sense, and it also has a really wet broad nib. I don't understand how those Japanese pens are flying through ink, but alright, more power to them, I suppose. So let's go ahead and get you situated. Hopefully you don't fall over. This is a yellow ink, so I'm not too sure how well you're going to be able to see it, but oh, you'll be able to see it fine. Broad. Now, I did smooth it. I don't think I tuned it. I think I only smoothed it. It was a little bit toothy, but it did write perfectly fine out of the box. If you like feedback, this came perfect. Let's see what I can compare it to. We have the aforementioned Pilot Custom 74. Have I re-inked it? No. See, it's also like almost out of ink. I mean, I did ink it up a while ago, but I don't feel like I've used it that much. But I guess. So that is a decent bit finer, as you would expect. I'm guessing it's inked with Konpeki, which I'm guessing is a little bit wetter than Hufflepuff Yellow. Those Harry Potter Monte Grappa inks are pretty wet though, so not too sure. Let's get my other pens for comparison. I'm just comparing to like my highest end pens I have. They're the ones I use the most, to be fair. So far, I think it's the most similar to the Lamy, although my Lamy is looking a little fine these days. I feel like it used to look a lot broader, and I don't know if it's just because the Mont Blanc is so much broader that it makes everything else seem so much finer to me now, but I don't know, it's kind of weird. My wonderful Pelikan. Still probably one of my favorite looking pens. I can't put a single favorite looking pen, but it is definitely up there on the list. And then we have boom. So I think it's closest to the Mont Blanc, which is interesting because this boy is wet and broad. I'm actually not 100% sure it's a medium. That is just an educated guess. It could be broad, maybe? No. It wouldn't be as broad as a Sailor broad. So I'm going to say that's a medium, but it's a thick and juicy medium, that's for sure. So I have no complaints. I'm looking forward to putting a more usable ink in it, because I mean, I can use yellow ink. I just don't really feel comfortable like journaling with yellow ink because I worry about like if the fountain pen ink starts fading. I feel like a lighter ink will be the first to go, so I usually go with these colors, just generally darker. It's not something like I worry about or anything, but like when I'm using a yellow ink, I'm like, this could be a thing. So I'm just not going to use it for journaling as much. I still use it because it's nice and I like looking at it. I also did this, just bored at work. That was with that Moon Man with Waterman Tender Purple and Hufflepuff Yellow and the Sailor. I love it. It's great, but I'll have to update you guys once I put a more usable ink in it and like really heavily journal with it. I'll let you guys know how that goes. And I do have some interesting packages on the way, should be here next week, so there will be more videos coming soon. I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching.